If you happen to have Pluto or Scorpio in your third house, then you might like a dirty talk. Your mind is very, very powerful, and you should know this, and I'm sure you do. Now, Pluto in the third house people, they have a very powerful mind, but also scary at the same time because their own thoughts can be very destructive. They find this interest in taboo topics such as sex and death and rebirth, and these topics obviously can be discussed with everyone. For Pluto or Scorpio in the third house to actually be comfortable to talk about the things that they are interested, talking about, they have to trust people, and these people should be in their inner circle, someone they can actually trust and someone they know for a while. If you are a Scorpio third house and you are a Virgo rising, so Virgo risings are very humble individuals. I mean, that's how they come off. That's their mask, right? Because rising sign is all about mask. But once you really get to know them, they have Scorpio in the third house, they will be cussing out, they will be, chill, like you will never even able to wrap your head around the fact that they're, humble, as a Virgo rising once you get to know them. But it takes time for Pluto in the third to actually trust a person so that they can share their, ideas, their beliefs, how they think, and what their passions are, because their passions are not usually shared with others. Now, these people have a very, very powerful mind, and it's like a penetrating mind to the root cause of things. Let's say somebody comes to you with their bullshit and lies to you. Pluto or Scorpio in the third house people are not going to listen to any words people say, but rather they're going to feel the energies and motivations, the intentions behind those words. You may say whatever you want, but they feel your vibe, you know what I mean? And that's why you can't really hide anything from these people. These people are great researchers. These people are like incredible at, finding out secrets. They just have this mind that allows them to find the truth. You may find yourself struggling to form friendships because of how you talk and how straightforward you can be with folks. Folks are phony, right? And Scorpio or Pluto in the third house are not. They can't stand this phony surface level conversation. For you to actually, be a good friend or close friend with Pluto or Scorpio in the third house, they got to trust you, and they got to trust you enough to be weird with you because they have weird interests. For me, it's not weird, by the way. For society generally, like general public, it is weird. So that's why these people are, not for everyone. It's like, once they open their mouth, they speak however they want to speak. It scares people. And I'm sure you, as, a person who has this placement, you have noticed this probably. But the thing is that with this placement, right, people are so afraid to be themselves because society denies, everything that they are thinking about, and they decide to just like keep it to themselves and bury all those thoughts and interests. You are someone who just knows what's up. You can read the room so well, and without even interacting much with a person, you may know their intentions and motivations. Now, when it comes to third house is a Gemini house. It's a Mercury ruled house. It represents your mind, your thoughts, your mundane tasks, mundane life, something that you are doing daily, your neighbors, siblings, how you grew up, early upbringing. So Pluto in the third house people may be drawn to education and developing their minds, gathering lots of information and becoming like well educated. Why? As a way to control other people. As a way to control their minds, really. Because remember, Pluto is, wherever it's placed, is going to indicate obsession and control. And being in the third house, which is a mind, right? And mind and mundane tasks. You may be also obsessive over your routine, by the way, and the people you surround yourself with. And usually people with Pluto or Scorpio in the third house, they like to be alone. They don't have a lot of friends. They may have had friends, a lot of friends, depending on your sun sign and moon sign, obviously, right, and rising. But they may have had friends, but they may have distanced themselves from them because, again, Pluto in the third talk, not everyone can handle it, but I can. These people early on, because third house represents your upbringing, right? Early on, they realize how powerful their thoughts can be. And not only that, they realize how destructive their thoughts can be. These thoughts, they may scare Pluto in the third house people themselves, actually. And that's why they may decide not to speak on certain things that they're thinking because, nobody will understand because the Pluto is destructive, right? And the thoughts are very dark sometimes, and it's really difficult to even communicate what a Pluto or Scorpio in the third house person is thinking. So that's why they may like repress all of those, things and not voice their opinions the way they want. But that's a trap. You gotta be you, and you gotta be weird. You are weird, and we're all weird, but people are just so afraid to be weird, and you have to have a fucking audacity to be weird, okay? You can't afford yourself not to be weird if this is who you are. I'm too old for that, honestly. So you have to really, really link up with people and have friendships only if they are okay with who you really are. Now, another thing right, regarding Pluto in the third house is that these people early on, when they were growing up, when they were kids, they realize how powerful their thoughts are and how much they can actually influence their reality, that they may carry this guilt and shame in their adulthood. So the book that I've been reading on the, placements and houses, the best book ever, by the way, it's the 12 houses. One example that's given in that book is that, let's say, a kid, a boy, right, with Pluto in the third or Scorpio in the third, has a sister who is, more favored by the parents, let's say, then the kid will automatically form jealousy and that resentment. But that's subconscious, mind you. That's not done consciously. And that resentment towards a sister, like let's say a destructive thought may appear in their mind, in the kid's mind, and then they would see how that thought manifests, thought affects, influences their sister. Like they can wish death or something. That's how Pluto mind goes in the third house. It goes to the extreme. And it's not something that you can control. And then let's say, a kid wished something upon his sister because he got jealous. The parents gave more attention to her and then she fell or injured herself. That very experience is going to give guilt to that person, right? And then they may be adult now, but they may still carry that guilt and shame. And the main lesson here is to let go of everything you think you're guilty of, because you may not be a kid no more, but those guilty, feelings are actually stemming from childhood. And you gotta put a stop to it, because unless you know where it's coming from, you're gonna be blaming other people, you're going to be making the wrong decisions. So it's very, very important to understand that nothing is your fault, and it's important not to take them as your own, okay? Also, when it comes to early life experiences, if anything traumatic happened in a Pluto or Scorpio third house person, they will remember it until like the end of their day. And it's important not to carry that resentment. And also when it comes to siblings, right, because third house represents siblings and Pluto is like tension, right? It's not something that's obvious. It's not the relationship that is just crystal clear to you. It's something that, yeah, you may be like good on the surface level, but there's like something underneath it that you may not like, and it may actually carry all the way from your childhood onto your adulthood. So be careful of that. Do not allow those past experiences from childhood to form this defense mechanism to a point where you're like completely hiding from the world, because that's possible too. It's like, early life experiences impress the subconscious mind of Pluto, the third house person, so much. And if it was bad experience, and usually they have bad experiences with siblings, bad, like weird relationships, or like neighbors, or just like their environment was weird, it may just like prompt them to defend themselves, and constantly be looking out for danger out there. So be aware of that, okay? Now, on a positive note, right, like I said in the beginning, this placement is very powerful. Like, you don't even know. And if you're really, let go of all guilt and shame and whatever, and just like hold a thought in intention, you can actually influence other people. Let's say like somebody walks in and treats you bad with a thought of them not treating you this way, treating you in a better way, and actually believing that thought and projecting that thought onto that image that you see, you can change people's behaviors. So realize your power. Do not be afraid of your thoughts, right? Thoughts that are coming to your mind of destructive nature are actually teaching you something, and this something means not to believe your thoughts, not to be afraid of them, but acknowledge their nature. They telling you something. They're telling you something about something that you do not see. Something that you don't see is the guilt and shame. And guilt and shame can manifest in different ways, okay? So let me know what you think about my interpretation, and if you like it, leave a comment. I would really love to hear your experience, your interpretation of your placement. But yeah, let me know if this resonates, and let me know in the comments what other content you would like me to make. But this week I'm going to just cover the Pluto through all the houses so you guys can understand your placement better. But yeah, follow me for more if you like my content.